Hi everyone, Tori here with a scrapbooking process video called Great Perhaps, and I am using this photo of all the people's feet in a circle. This was the day that my sister left to go to Kenya, and we were standing around praying for her, and I just grabbed a shot of everyone's feet, and I just wanted to scrapbook it, and I am going to be using the Odyssey scrapbook kit from Studio Calico, and you'll see me use that here. I'm using this great paper. It has navy blue and light blue stripes on it. It is the Right Angles paper, and this is the B side of that paper. I started by cutting off a 1/4 inch off of the top because I really wanted to keep the branding strip on the bottom. It had this pretty pink and white polka dot, and I wanted to keep that. So I started by cutting off the top so that it would be a true 12 by 12. Then I started grabbing sort of the inspiration behind this layout. I knew I wanted to use this square photo, and I believe it's 3.5 by 3.5 inches. I also wanted to use this compass wood veneer that I received in a Studio Calico kit many months back, and I also wanted to use 4 of those chipboard pieces. And originally I thought I would line up the chipboard pieces in the wood veneer at the bottom or do something along the middle, but then I decided to take some inspiration from a layout I saw earlier today and go with a grid. Now, I was watching a process video by Sue's Fish, who is this really great process video maker that I've started watching. Somebody recommended her to me in the comments, so I started watching her, and she was doing a layout with a grid design, and I thought maybe I should give it a go and do a layout with a grid design. So I decided to do that, and I don't make a lot of layouts with grid or squares on them, but I thought it would be fun to just mix it up and do something different, and I thought it worked well with the different items that I wanted to use, like that wood veneer circle, the 4 chipboard pieces, and the photo that was also a square. So I'm just going through some different cards that I grabbed from my stash, mostly that were in the same color family as the blues and teal colors that I wanted to use, and just sort of figuring out how I want to layer it. And what I'm going to be doing on this layout is making lots of layers and just layering many different pieces and things on top of each other. And they're not going to be a perfect grid because, I don't know, I didn't want to go perfect. I wanted to go with a very layered look, and I wanted to layer up lots of things underneath the 4 elements that I wanted, and I like the way that it works out. I decided to use squares that are roughly 4 by 4, just slightly larger than the photo because I knew that I wanted to put lots of layers underneath the photo too. So each of the squares that I'm going to make are going to be just over 4 by 4. I mean, the main element will be 4 by 4, and then there will be other layers that make it slightly larger than that. So I began by grabbing different colored papers that I wanted to go with. I decided to use this really pretty paper that came in the Odyssey kit with the ticks on it, like the number ticks, and use that underneath that photo of the feet. I also was trying to figure out where to put journaling. Now, originally I had thought I would put the title for the layout on that one Project Life card that I had cut up into a 4 by 4 spot in the bottom right hand corner because it had that like label part in the middle. I thought I would stick a journaling card behind that. So that's what I'm going to stick with for most of the layout. In the end, that card doesn't necessarily become the title. I do keep the journaling there, but I end up layering a whole bunch of other things on top and using a different journaling card. So basically, the layout was actually really fun to put together. It was pretty easy too. I knew which colors I wanted to go with. I decided to go with the same colors that are in those chipboard pieces, and those chipboard pieces came from the scrapbook kit this month, and they all sort of have like a travel theme with them. And I wanted to use the same kind of colors. So the yellows and greens, that aqua tealish color, I don't know what it is, blue, those kind of colors. I am loosely cutting the layers. I don't want them to be perfect squares, so I use some vellum. I also used a glassine bag underneath that bottom left-hand corner. And I'm also using a ton of different scraps and things from my stash. I love making layouts like this where I can just grab a bunch of my scraps and use them up. So what I'm doing here is I just grabbed my bin of scrap papers, and these are some of my favorite papers that I just save little pieces of, and I like to use them on some layouts. And I just grabbed some different ones in grays, that one floral one which had the colors that I was using, also this dark navy blue one with stripes, or that might be black. Yeah, I think it's black. And I just grabbed a bunch of them, and I decided that I'm just going to cut them up and layer them underneath each of the layers or on top of the layers, just to create some extra dimension and added interest to each of those four quadrants or 4 sections of the layout. This is a really fun technique that you can try too. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that's probably one of the things that really appeals to me about the layout is I'm not trying to line up anything perfectly. I'm not trying to make all of the squares the same size. I'm just sort of going with whatever makes me happy and whatever I think looks good to me. So I don't think there's a lot to say about that. But while I'm doing that and you're just watching me, I think I'm going to speed it up a little bit so that you don't have to spend that much time watching me layer it. After I was done with the papers that I wanted to use, I went through this box of just random ephemera, random little things, and just started going through it and finding other fun things that I could layer under and in the layers. Like I grabbed that white arrow and I stuck it under the photo. I grabbed a moon shape, and then I grabbed, I decided I want some more layers and just random ephemera. So I grabbed the ephemera set that came in one of the add-ons that I had purchased this month. I believe it came in the Circe add-on. I grabbed some flowers, some circles, and other fun things like a heart, and just sort of layered those among all the layers, just creating that fun little added dimension. In order to get the layers exactly where I wanted them, I took off the top elements and stapled all of the elements together using my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher, which is a new little gadget of mine, and I absolutely love it. I didn't really want a ton of staples showing on the layout, so that's why I didn't put the staples on the top layer. Instead, I used hot glue to put the top layer on. And that just makes it so there's not a ton of staples all over the page. But I really feel like the staples are a great way to go when you're layering this many layers, because you can get them right where you want them easily without having to glue each one down. And I figured that way if I decided I wanted to stick anything else in or layer more pieces after, there would still be space for me to do that. And then I'm also sticking down those chipboard pieces. Now they do have adhesive on the back, so I could have just peeled off the backing and just used that adhesive. But I decided that I really wanted to stick them down so they wouldn't come off. So when I really want to stick an embellishment down and I don't want it to come off, I use my hot glue gun. I am also adding one of those craft and gold labels that came in one of the kits this month. I believe it's the Scrapbook kit. And I'm going to end up stamping the date on that, so I stuck it on the top corner. And I also used one of those black and gold labels as well. It just says today on it, and I stuck it in that top corner just for a little pop of black. I wanted something to stand out, and I love the gold. And if you remember the Project Life spread that I'm putting across from this page, it used one of those black and gold labels as well. So I figured I wanted to tie the two layouts together, and a great way to do that is to tie it together with similar elements. Now, for the next thing I'm going to do my journaling, and I want to show you my brand new amazing typewriter. I got it for $50, woot woot, off of Stouffville Buy and Sell, which is where I'm from. It's like people sell their old stuff, and I'm going to be using a Project Life card for that. Now, I'm going to cut ahead now that you're seeing how I'm doing it. I was having a little trouble getting it to go through at first. And I did type on this one, and then I realized I didn't like the color, so I ended up switching to another one. So I ended up just typing on some white cardstock and trimming it so it would fit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little pocket behind that bottom right-hand square for the card to just go in and out. And there is some personal stuff on that card, so I didn't want it to be like on the layout, but I figured if later if somebody wanted to go in and read it, they could, and that would be fine. So I like that the pocket sort of creates that just little space for it to sit where you know it's there and you could pull it out, but it's not like right smack dab in your face. And it was a little big, so I ended up just trimming a little bit more off the side just to make sure that it'll fit perfectly. And now I'm just going to add my title, and the title is going to be Prayer Circle because that's what we were doing. And I'm using these gold alphas that are really beautiful, and I believe they came in the Scrapbook kit this month. And what I'm doing on the side there is I just wrote Prayer Circle because I wanted to start in the middle, so I was just trying to figure out where the middle was. And I just attached those letters around that giant wood veneer, and I like that the way it looks. I like that it just sort of circles that. And I like that it doesn't really take away from the layout. Like, I didn't want a really huge title. I just wanted something a little simpler. Now I'm just going to add some final embellishments and things. I grabbed some of these black puffy stickers that I received in a kit a long time ago. I'm also going to grab these gold puffy star stickers from Studio Calico and put 3 of them on the page, going with the rule of thirds so it draws your eye around the page. And then the last thing I'm going to add is I wanted to add some chipboard. I just wanted to bring some more brown, tie some more of that brownish color in. So I'm going to put an arrow on one of the chipboard pieces and an arrow on the photo, and also one of those chevron shapes underneath the wood veneer that's in the bottom corner. And that bottom corner just says, "It will be okay." And to finish off the layout, I decided to add some enamel dots and a couple of buttons just for fun. And that's it. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day.